Strung some stops together. Our defense was poor most of the night, and we were playing so much in transition defensively because of all the turnovers, but we...
Somewhere inside the Chase Center, behind closed doors, a conversation is happening that could decide the next chapter of a dynasty. And at the center of it all sits one man who has given the Warriors everything, every championship, every miracle shot, every reason to believe. Stephen Curry has spent his entire career proving loyalty still means something in a league built on betrayal. But loyalty has a breaking point. And this summer, Golden State pushed dangerously close to it. Because after all the promises, after all the whispered plans about finally surrounding their franchise icon with real help, the Warriors ended the offseason exactly where they started. A 37-win roster. No blockbuster addition. No superstar teammate. Just Steph, alone again, carrying a team that keeps asking him to be a miracle worker instead of building him a real supporting cast. And that silence, that deafening summer silence, is exactly what makes the next 12 months so dangerous for Golden State. Warriors general manager Mike Dunleavy Jr. tried to project calm. He told reporters he doesn't believe Curry will ever walk into his office and ask out. He said it with confidence, almost like a man trying to convince himself as much as everyone else. But then came the caveat, the line that sent a chill through the entire Bay Area. If Curry ever did want out, Dunleavy said he and owner Joe Lacob would sit down and talk it through. They wouldn't love it, but Curry has earned the right to do what he wants. Read that again. The general manager of the Golden State Warriors just publicly admitted that if Stephen Curry, the greatest shooter who has ever lived, the man who built this entire era of basketball with his own hands, decided he'd had enough, the door would not be locked. It would be open. That's not a threat. That's a warning shut. And somewhere in Milwaukee, in Boston, in every front office paying attention, executives heard it loud and clear. Curry has always said he wants what Kobe had, what Duncan had, what Dirk had. One franchise, one legacy, one jersey worn from rookie year to retirement. That dream is still alive inside him. But dreams don't survive on sentiment alone. They survive on results. And right now, the Warriors are not delivering results. So if Golden State wants to keep that dream breathing, if they want to walk back into Curry's office not with apologies, but with answers, there is one move sitting right there on the table. Bold, complicated, almost uncomfortable in its ambition. But real. Here it is. Golden State sends Jimmy Butler, Brandin Podziemski, Moody, Will Richard, a top 4 protected 2027 first-round pick, and a 2031 first-round pick to the Milwaukee Bucks. In return, the Warriors bring back Tyler Herro, Myles Turner, Jaime Jaquez Jr., and Kevin Porter Jr. Let that sink in for a moment, because on paper, this looks like the kind of trade that reshapes a season overnight. Think about what Golden State is actually walking away from. Jimmy Butler and Moody are both coming off injuries, both question marks for the start of the year, both unlikely to make a real impact until it's already too late to matter. In exchange, the Warriors get 4 players who can step onto the floor and contribute immediately. That's not a downgrade. That's addition through subtraction, dressed up as a blockbuster. And then there's the real reason this trade matters. The reason it isn't just about depth. It's about giving Stephen Curry something he hasn't had in years, real shot creation next to him. 4 seasons now, Golden State's offense has lived and died by Curry's gravity alone. Defenses know it. They load up on him. They trap him. They dare anyone else to beat them. Tyler Herro and Kevin Porter Jr. change that equation completely. Both can create their own shot. Both can score in isolation. Both take pressure off a 30-something Curry who has spent a decade doing it all himself. Yes, the defense will be shaky. Yes, there will be nights where opposing guards feast. But offensively, this gives Golden State something they haven't had in years, actual firepower that doesn't run through Steph's legs on every single possession. Then there's Myles Turner, a modern stretch 5 who can space the floor and protect the rim. It might look redundant on a roster that already leans on shooting bigs, until you remember the math nobody wants to say out loud. Al Horford is 40 years old. Kristaps Porzingis has played 57 games, then 42, then 32 over the last 3 seasons combined. Golden State is 1 injury away from a center rotation collapse. Turner isn't a luxury, his insurance. And paired with Draymond Green, He becomes exactly the front-court partner this era of Warriors basketball has been missing. And then Jaime Jaquez Jr. young. Downhill. Physical. Another body who can attack a defense that's collapsed onto Curry instead of standing around waiting for a three that may never come. But nothing this significant comes without a price. To make this work, Golden State has to attach not one, but two future first-round picks to Butler's expiring $56 million contract. That number climbs higher because Podziemski, a Wisconsin native heading toward restricted free agency, is part of the package too. It's a steep cost. It's the kind of cost that makes front offices hesitate, that makes fan bases argue for weeks. But desperation changes math. And Golden State, after this summer, is desperate. Now flip to the other side of this deal. Why would Milwaukee even consider it? Because the Bucks are no longer the team they were. Giannis Antetokounmpo is gone. And Myles Turner, brought in specifically to complement a two-time MVP who no longer wears the jersey, suddenly looks like a piece without a puzzle. Herro is on an expiring contract Milwaukee may not want to pay market rate to keep. Podziemski could replicate that production for far less money. And Will Richard, a player who nearly cracked the all-rookie team last season, checks every box a rebuilding franchise wants: young, cheap, controllable. Yes, absorbing Butler's contract is a burden. But Milwaukee already had $44 million coming off the books this summer between Herro, Jaquez, and Porter. An extra $12 million might not feel all that different. And Butler, paired with a growing war chest of draft capital, becomes a trade chip Milwaukee could flip again down the road, maybe even the centerpiece in a deal for the next cornerstone of their rebuild. Still, don't expect Milwaukee to say yes without pushing for more. If anything, expect them to demand at least one additional first-round pick before they sign off. And that leaves Golden State facing the hardest question of the entire offseason. How much are they willing to give up to convince Steph Curry to stay? Because this isn't really about Tyler Herro or Myles Turner or draft picks changing hands. This is about a franchise racing against time, trying to prove to its greatest player that the loyalty runs both ways. Trying to answer Dunleavy's own words before Curry ever has to ask the question out loud. The door is open. Golden State knows it. And right now, across the league, everyone is watching to see if the Warriors walk through it first or wait until it's too late.